A stylish Zach Crawley innings takes England to the close. A Mir Jamal induces Pope Duck, all after a magnificent ton by Salman Agha. Welcome back to the Cricket Council podcast for Day 2 coverage of the first test between Pakistan and England. Zach Crawley and Joe Root steered England to 96 for 1 at the close after Pakistan registered a mammoth 556 in their first innings. Crawley was at his stylish best to put on a superb 64, and Root was steady for his 32 not out. Their valuable 92-run stand came following Ollie Pope's dismissal by a magnificent Mir Jamal catch for a 2-ball duck. The stand-in England captain had opened the batting after a thumb injury to Ben Duckett, but news from the England camp is that Duckett will be able to bat tomorrow. This all came after Pakistan resumed the day on 328 for 4. They were slow off the mark this morning and added just 69 runs in the morning session. But after lunch, a quickfire Salman Agha 100 powered the home side into commanding position. And now for the scores on the doors. Salman Agha was by far the superior batter today, with his 104 not out. He was assisted most effectively by Shaheen Shah Afridi, who added 26 to forge an 85-run 9-wicket stand and helped Pakistan up to 556 all out. For Pakistan's innings as a whole, Jack Leach was the pick of the England bowlers, with 3 for 160. Seamers Gus Atkinson and Test debutant Bryden Cast took 2 apiece, while Chris Wokes, Shoaib Bashir and Joe Root took 1 each. Zach Crawley is currently top scored for England in this innings. He's on 64 not out, whilst Joe Root is on 32 not out to leave the tourists 96 for 1 at the close. How are you doing first, I guess?
Yes, I'm good, mate. Enjoyed another interesting day's cricket. I think it's probably in the balance right now, isn't it? Yeah, I guess a draw is probably looking like the most likely result because the pitch does just look absolutely dead. I noticed a few balls turning, a few balls keeping low, but I think it's going to have to deteriorate a lot more if there's going to be a result in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a draw. I'm very confident. I think I tweeted on our on our Twitter that this is going to be a draw in about the 10th over of the first day, because it just looked horrible. Maybe not the 10th over, but halfway through the first day, because it just looked so ominous, looked so nice to bat on.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame for Test cricket if that is the case, and I don't know what the pitches are going to be like for the rest of the series. But you never know. England can perform miracles, so let's see.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a long 3 weeks or month or so if the decks stay this flat. But I think it's interesting. I can't remember the commentator's name, and he was saying this is just the pitches you get in Pakistan, like it's to do with literally the soil and stuff and like environmental factors like that. Compared to Indian decks, and then compared to decks in Australia, which are more bouncy, and decks over here, which give you a bit more lateral movement. So I don't feel too sort of aggrieved by it. And England have shown they've done it before 2 years ago with, pretty unbelievable 3-0 series win. So we'll just see. We'll just have to see what happens. They're probably going to try and go ham at some point tomorrow, once they get a bit close to Pakistan's lead. So we'll see what happens.
I'm actually quite impressed with Pakistan. I think they have improved since we beat them 3-0. I know, obviously, I think, they've lost the last 5 test matches, but I don't think they're a bad test side at all from what I've seen over the last 2 days.
Yeah. Well, especially with the ball, actually, because Afridi and Naseem Shah have been quite out of favour recently. I don't think they think they missed at least one of the Bangladesh games. And I thought they looked quite threatening. Like we'll get on to England's batting in, probably in about 2 seconds. But they did seem to maybe make a little bit more happen with the ball than what our openers were doing. Maybe that's down to conditions. Obviously, they were bowling at dusk and under the lights. But yeah, like, what are your thoughts on opening spell from them.
Yeah, I was really impressed. I think they're both quick. They're both young, but they're a lot more experienced than the England bowlers, and particularly in these conditions. I saw Shaheen beat the bat a few times to Crawley, who obviously likes to play those big booming drives, but there wasn't much swing or lateral movement at all. So yeah, it's hard work for all the bowlers, I think.
Yeah, it is. And on Crawley, just wow, so
Yeah,
good to have him back.
He's quickly becoming my favourite England batsman. And if you'd asked me that, or if I'd said that a few years ago, yeah, the way he sort of, especially against the spin when Abra came on, and I think he got him a few times in the last series, but he just didn't let him settle at all. Anything that was a little bit short, he just pulled in, used his feet to anything full. And yeah, it made Abra look particularly average, if I'm honest.
Oh, it's some of his shots down the ground were just sumptuous to the spin, especially. He was.
I don't know what Abra's done with the glasses. He must have gone contact lenses, but I think he's lost a bit of mystery and intrigue for me without
lost his magic. He has lost his magic with the contacts.
And he doesn't turn the ball. He's just got that kind of action where he just flicks it out.
Topspin.
Yeah, I think the England batters have seen what he's about now, and yeah, they seem to play him really well.
Yeah, I mean, again, he may turn around and say, well, the deck is so unreceptive that I can't get any turn, and Leach showed that, but I suppose he does that on most surfaces. And, Bash, was getting the odd bit of turn, even he was, but it still wasn't that regular.
Yeah,
he wasn't turning it too much.
Yeah, I like the job Leach did, actually. And when he was bowling at the end, at the tail, when they were coming after us a little bit, it made me wonder why I don't know, has he played white ball cricket for England, or he's definitely not?
No, he's played a lot of Metrobank this season.
Yeah, I mean,
just gone.
With his control and sort of his variation in pace, I think he could be quite useful. But I guess when you got Rashid, there's no real place for Leach, is there?
Yeah, you can't drop Rashid for Leachy. It'd be an interesting move. So Crawley, he reached. I'll just get the scorecard up. So Crawley reached. He reached 64 off 64 balls this evening. He paired up with Joe Root, who looked just as solid as he always does. He made 32. Ollie Pope, I thought it looked like a great opportunity when he's been perhaps a touch out of sorts over the summer. I suppose he got that ton. Was it a ton at the Oval? Last test, yeah. But he's still come under a bit of criticism, and that it was an unbelievable catch from Amar Jamel to remove him. It's diving to his right. If you haven't seen it, diving to his right, full stretch, managed to just sort of pincer it between his thumb and his index finger to keep hold of it. But just keep that down. Just roll your wrists over it. It was just a bit. I was just a bit like, I was gutted for him, and it was just more of just a gutting dismissal than anything to really beat a stick with him. But it was annoying. It annoyed me.
The sort of boom and bust nature of Ollie Pope continues, and I think there's been a lot talked about it, but he does look really jittery at the start of his innings when you compare him to someone like Root, who immediately asserts himself at the crease and looks comfortable. Yeah, I don't know if it's nerves for Pope or... Yeah, I don't know, really. Obviously, he's not an opener, and he had to go up the order and do that job while he's captaining, where I'm sure there's a lot going up through his mind. But he's shown once he gets in what a good player he is. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about him.
Oh, I'm not worried about him. It's not nowhere near the sort of almost drop him chat that there was in the summer. I'm nowhere near that. And on a similar theme, obviously, Pope went in. He opened the batting because Ben Duckett looked to have looked to have maybe dislocated his finger when catching Abra for literally the last ball of the innings, which really was sort of summed up how obscene a sport Test match cricket can be sometimes, spending 149 overs in the field, and with the last ball of all of that as an opening bat, you then get injured and can't play. But there's good news out of the England camp, which was mentioned on Sky Sports earlier, is that he will be okay to bat tomorrow. So once Crawley or Root are dismissed, hopefully that's not for a while, he will be coming in, presumably next, if not a little bit further down the order.
Yeah, it surprised me actually, because I noticed it straight away that something was just not right when Duckett took that catch. And yeah, I think it was quite clear straight away that he had dislocated it. I've actually done that myself, fielding the slips before. Didn't catch it though. Ball went for 4, hit the end of my finger. Yeah, I looked over at my thumb and it was pointing the other way. Unfortunately, we didn't have a doctor on hand, so one of my teammates put it back into position. But yeah, that left me out for months really. But hopefully, I think if it goes straight back in and it's put in correctly, it should be fine. But you saw him in the coverage, actually, he was gripping a ball while he was sitting on the balcony. I think they're a bit worried about it stiffening up. And overnight, that could happen. So I would actually be surprised if he's not out for a little while after this test. But yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Because then there becomes a selection issue at the top of the order, doesn't there? Because you've got Jordan Cox, and then it would just be Jordan Cox would come in.
Yeah, he took it very well, because it was painful.
Yeah. I've only ever broken my finger. I've not dislocated, but I feel like a dislocation would be far worse in terms of getting it back in.
Oh yeah, that is when it really, really hurts. I got told look the other way, and you hear a bit of a crack.
Oh god!
And then a lot of shouting ensued.
Not screeches. Yeah. Little shout out to Salman Agha. He scored a very, very, very impressive 100 off 104 balls. I mean, of 119 balls. His 104 came off 119 balls. And he really picked up the pace from the morning session. So in the morning, there was only 69 runs and 2 wickets fell. Much of that perhaps down to Naseem Shah, who dug out 33 off 81. But he was brilliant in the afternoon and the early part of the evening session. He put on 100. He helped put on 118 for 2, so like hugely increasing the run rate. And with Shaheen Shah Afridi put on 85 for, I think, the 9th wicket, which really hampered England, who maybe were looking at maybe a sub 500 score. But yeah, instead it's 550. How much of that did you catch of the Shaheen hitting, which I was getting very just like irritated by?
Yeah, it was a bit frustrating towards the end. I started to tune in just as Jamie Smith missed the stumping. I can't remember who was off, but I think that was off Salman. And then shortly after, Atkinson dropped an absolute sitter, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it's almost contagious, right, at that stage when you've been in the field for so long and things just start going wrong. But yeah, I found it mildly entertaining, and it didn't hurt England.
No, it didn't really.
Too much.
It was just pure fatigue on
village,
display, really.
Village cricket setting into the England team out in Pakistan.
Yeah. And another bit of news that's come out today is Ollie Stone is going home already. It's all bits for his wedding, which is, I don't begrudge him at all, but why pick him? Why go?
Yeah, I can't understand why why you wouldn't have just picked a replacement to go out instead of him. I think obviously Potts is the backup seamer now, and I'd be surprised. I think Cars in particular looks knackered. He's bowled a lot of overs in this game already. Bowled really well, to be fair, and he was doing the post game with NASA and the Sky Sports commentators, and I thought he spoke really well. Seems like a nice lad, and he's an absolute unit as well. He was there in singlet and shorts, looked like a rugby player.
Woof. Yeah.
Very got that South African big build.
Okay, well, I mean, I didn't know he was South African. He's still got a thick South African accent, and I think he said in the interview he's been over here for 10 years maybe, and he was joking with NASA that can't have been a much harder introduction into Test cricket if you tried. No. Oh, it is one of the worst decks in the world. It feels like for a seamer to start.
He's just been told to bang it in short, and the wicket he got Naseem Shah with, that was impressive because he kind of did just tuck him up and got caught at leg gully. And as we talked about before, I really like Cars. I think he's got a lot of good attributes. And he could definitely be one in the attack when we next go to Australia.
Oh, I think he'll be floating around, if not in the starting team. Just sticking with the bowlers, who would you have? I know there's not going to fly out a replacement for Stone. Who would you have if they could?
It's a good question. I like the county trundlers with the likes of Jamie Porter, who've taken a load of wickets, but I don't think in Pakistan.
What about Sam Cook?
Yeah, Sam Cook is another one, both at Essex. They're always up there being the wicket takers for Essex, but I think their pace is barely touching 80 miles an hour, and I think they probably would.
But what was Robinson bowling last time?
Yeah,
Robinson was bowling 80.
70s,
was bowling 81 or whatever. The problem that England have had in that innings specifically is a lack of reverse swing. There's no reverse swing on offer. I mean, the ball's probably still not old enough for the Pakistani seamers to get the ball reversing, and if they can get it reversing tomorrow, then flack can maybe start coming to the England bowler for not being able to get reverse swing, and we'll rehash all the Anderson chat and everything else. But I want to say hopefully for England seamers and for England in general, the Pakistani quicks also fail to get reverse swing, and then you can just look at the conditions and say reverse swing wasn't on offer. Therefore, a little bit, what can you do? And it was always going to be a draw, unless England can do some insane fast hitting tomorrow, or if Pakistan can get the ball reversing and start taking wickets, or get the ball turning and start taking wickets if it deteriorates. Anything more to add on that stuff?
Yeah, another one that's just come to my mind is Dylan Pennington. I think he was in and around the squad in the summer. Didn't play. I think he bowls with good pace. So if they do want to call someone up from Ollie Stone, maybe they go down that direction. Yeah,
he's more 85 plus, isn't he, Pennington?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, Luke, I want to know if you've done any advert observations.
I did.
Very good. You've got a long sort of monologue, magnificently curated for us to all listen to.
Yes. So the one that really stuck out for me was super safe, and the little catchphrase was "cleans like a dream." From what I can make out, it's some kind
lovely
of
stuff. I think that's what I referenced yesterday. So we've got similar tastes.
Yeah, some kind of laundry detergent. It did make me laugh. And also one moment that I particularly enjoyed is the camera panned to two what looked like young brothers.
I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
Both dressed absolutely immaculately, and one of them was just bawling his eyes out for some reason.
The poor kid, and the cameraman's got to think, right, come on, just gonna pan away from poor kid falling away.
And then his brother or friend didn't seem too bothered.
He was chilling, wasn't he? Yeah.
Very, very smartly dressed.
Listen, fair play to them. I like the tea corner. I've forgotten the name of the brand. We're doing a good service for the 11 viewers who tune into this podcast. They're going to get some good traction off us.
I wonder if they want to sponsor us. Maybe.
By all means, get in touch. Promote it to our 250 followers on Twitter. I'm sure something could be arranged. There is one more thing. Is I obviously it's in the back of must be in my subconscious that I'll be getting up to watch the cricket this morning, because I had a dream last night that Pakistan set England 16,000 runs in the first innings. Or it was either that or they set 8,000 runs, and then a weird Duckworth-Lewis system meant it got increased to 16,000. But I don't really know what that says about myself, about my psychological state at the moment.
Yeah, I think you need to make sure you're reading outside the realms of cricket and watching something other than cricket, if that's where your subconscious is going. But
perhaps touch concerning.
We've all had cricketing dreams, so I wouldn't worry too much.
I will try not to fret. Have you got any standout? It's taken a weird turn, hasn't it? Any standout cricket dreams?
Yeah, I think this is quite a common one, and it's been talked about quite a lot on The Grey Cricketer. And this is actually a recurring dream I have, is when I'm next into bat and I'm padding up, but I can only seem to go in slow motion. And whatever I do, I just cannot get padded up quickly enough. And then it ends me getting timed out. And now, whenever I actually do play cricket, I make sure I'm padded up well in advance. And I'm often asked, why are you padded up, Luke? Like, do you not trust the batting? And I never actually tell them the true reason. But I have now just told the internet. So.
Yeah. That is, oh God, it's actually just mental behaviour. Luckily, I don't play club cricket enough for that to come to the fore. Maybe it's just a matter of time. If I start playing more once I'm settled somewhere. Oh dear. We'll be back tomorrow for another roundup. I hope you enjoyed our drivel towards the last 10 minutes there. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. We're now posting the odd bit on TikTok. So that's hopefully all good stuff. Thanks so much for listening, especially if you've made it to the end. See you tomorrow.
Cheers, guys. See you later.